candidates for questions that we've submitted to you. We are going to be asking that we do a 2-minute closing statement from each candidate. We will get a chance to hear from one more time. And as you provide your closing statements, please tell us what one issue you will prioritize to address after you are elected to represent District 4 on City Council.
Well, first and foremost, I would just like to thank everyone for coming out on this gorgeous Saturday afternoon. This forum was one that's been a long time in the making from some of our residents and community leaders in District 4. So I just want to say thank you, everyone, for coming. With this 10-1 election that we have, I think we have a really great opportunity to elect someone from our neighborhood who can represent the district, which is something that we desperately need for District 4. I think that it is crucial that we find someone who has experience as a leader. For myself, I've been a business and community leader in Austin for about 20 years. I started my first business when I was 26 years old. I started a marketing agency. When I turned 31, I started a restaurant that I took from concept to 3-store chain that was eventually valued at over $1 million. I went on to work at Dell as a regional marketing and operations leader for 12 countries. I have been a leader in this community for a very long time, and during that time in business, I was also leading in the community. I worked with the group that brought Dress for Success to Austin. I'm, like I said earlier, on the board of the North Austin Community Garden as well as the North Austin YMCA, and I've been working hard to represent and make this district, this area better. If elected, my #1 priority is going to be an equitable distribution of services in District 4, because that is what we are truly lacking. All of these things that we've talked about today, sidewalks, police, transportation, affordability, those are all connected to the same problem, is that we have not gotten our piece of the pie for District 4. We need leadership who can go in, collaborate, but also stand up and say, we need equitable distribution of city services in this district. Just because our property is not the expensive property doesn't mean that we don't deserve that as well.
First of all, I'd like to thank my family, my wife, Patricia, who's back there in the back with my son, Maximilian, and Alexa. And Alexa was recently elected president of 6th grade at Ann Richards. It made me really proud. So I told her that she won the election before I did. She set the bar really high for me. And that's kind of one of the things that I've kind of instilled in my children, that it's not just the public office that you have to want to see. It's about serving your neighbors and not to forget that aspect. And that's kind of the thing in my situation, that I've been working in my neighborhood for the last 5 years. I didn't move into my district, or it wasn't even a district. I didn't move into the neighborhood to represent you. I've been here. I live, if you want to, after this, if y'all want to come to my house, I live right across here, right behind Lanier. Y'all can follow me there. So you know where I live down the street. My experience, just talking about my experience, 10 years in workforce development, helping individuals make more money, be able to afford to live in the city. Over 10 years of small business experience. I've also started several businesses, but my idea or my goal was never to be in business. My idea was always to be, to enhance my education, because I knew that through education I was going to be able to provide for my family. And that's the reason that I was, up to before I started the election cycle, I was working on my doctoral degree in business administration. I put that on hold. I was about to file my topic and start working on that, and my chair said, you need to hold on before you do that. So I've managed over $1 million budgets and contracts, both federal and state and city contracts. I think one of the things going into this 10-1 is you need somebody that's going to be able to mediate between the other 10 individuals. I'm a certified mediator, so I think that would go a long way with this new city council.
Thank you, everybody, for coming this afternoon. It's a pretty Saturday, and you picked to be with us, so thank you. I've lived in Austin 26 years, and over that time, I've developed amazing relationships across the city. And what that translates to is resources. And, to getting things done in District 4. You asked us what one thing we want to do. I'm going to tell you the 3 things that I will do, and I know how to do them. And the first thing is get us that 20% homestead exemption as soon as possible. It can be done, and it's time. Our property appraisals on average went up 40%. We have to have that tax relief right now. The second thing is reduce our utility rates and fees, and we do that with work with Austin Energy and the water utility, and there are ways to do it. I know how to do it. The third thing is long-term, prevent gentrification in District 4. We are on deck to be the next South Congress and East Riverside. We have to protect ourselves from zoning changes that can cause gentrification and the tax increases that will cause our residents to have to move. That is the main thing we have to do from a long-term standpoint, and I know how to do that also. So those 3 things are what I want to do. It's a big task, and I'm ready for the job, so put me in coach, and I would love to be your councilwoman for District 4. I'll ask for your vote. Thank you.
When I was first thinking about whether I wanted to run for office, I met with many previous former elected officials, and many of them did tell me that it wasn't such a crazy idea that I should do it, but there was one who told me not to. And they sat on the city council recently, and they said, you sound like somebody that cares about justice and equity in our city, and that's not really what the city council does, so you should run for something else. And that's exactly the kind of attitude that we have the opportunity to change at City Hall with this election. We are oftentimes called a liberal city, but I have sat through so many city council meetings where we have this vanilla brand of liberalism that puts issues like poverty and inequality and women's rights and tenants' rights and our struggling education system as if they're niche issues that aren't the main issues, the core of what our city should be thinking and talking about. That's the number one thing I want to get done when we go hopefully when I get elected. The hope is to organize our communities to make that shift, and I'm optimistic and know that we can because I've seen how we can do it. That when we bring working folks who truly are struggling to get by in Austin together with moderate income homeowners, together with people from all across the city that have integrity and courage, that we can change the political conversation. And with that change, we will get things like paid sick days from our major employers. We're one of the few developed nations that doesn't require that. We should have that in Austin. Effective law enforcement that knows how to connect with our communities, a clean environment, and fair housing. Oftentimes those things have been pit against one another at City Hall, and they shouldn't be. If we have a real core set of values, that no matter who you are, where you come from, you deserve a decent job, you deserve decent housing and a decent education and a safe place to live with your family.
I just want to reiterate a couple of things and talk about something else that I think makes me uniquely suited to serve District 4. I've talked about my lengthy volunteer experience in the community. I've been a nurse for 25 years, working primarily with low-income people in public hospitals and through my public policy work in the legislature and at the Texas Department of Insurance, where I'm an associate commissioner, and created a public-private partnership to provide low-cost health insurance for small employers. But beyond the work and the volunteer work that I've done, I also know what it's like to be in a family that struggles to make ends meet. I grew up in a little town southeast of Houston where my father worked in a refinery. He wasn't even a skilled worker. My mother was a cafeteria lady. Neither of them even graduated from high school. I didn't have a path to college. I worked my way as a nurse's aide through community college and then continued going to school, and it was very beneficial for me, but I understand the need to have government and other support systems to help you move along. This new system of 10-1 is really about change, about having representation from our own communities finally. I think I said this earlier, but I didn't move into District 4 just to run for office. I understand the needs of District 4 firsthand because I've lived here and I've been very active in this community. I would like to see us take this opportunity to elect somebody who understands and knows our community, who's not just running in this race to serve their own political ambition or satisfy some or pursue some personal political goal. First of all, I'd like to, once I'm in office, set the foundation for how we're going to make decisions. Governance isn't a sexy or exciting thing to talk about, but how this new council works together will set the groundwork for how we'll be able to make any decisions on transportation, affordability, or public safety, and that's what we need to do first.
I want to make District 4 more livable, more affordable. And I know we can improve the district together. At the same time, we can empower and respect the people who live here. And we do that through grassroots community efforts, as I've been doing. Like I said, I'm a native Austinite. I grew up going through the public schools. I graduated from Lanier, class of '84, and continued on and kept my son in public school. My first granddaughter just started public kindergarten back in late August. So I totally support public schools. As I campaign, I continue being involved in the issues that are important to me. Restore Runberg is a huge one. I started out as a community participant. I've been recently appointed to the team by Place 5 Education Representative Ann Tyke. And I've answered in responding to previous questions how I bring people in and other community partners to grow that. So hopefully once the grant is over, we can keep going because we've built enough social and economic capital to keep it going. Public schools are important to me. I'm on 2 of the AISD citizen boards, Hispanic Outreach and the Community Bond Oversight Committee. They're responsible for making sure the district spends money responsibly on the construction projects and repairs. Also involved in healthcare, I used to do the open enrollment as an enrollment specialist. Many of my clients lived here in this area, the northern part of District 4. And that's what gave me more reach with Restore Runberg, calling in Project Access, Central Health, the executive leadership. Like I said before, I understand the needs of the community. This district is 65% Hispanic, 70% renters. I fit within both of those categories. I'm the only female Hispanic running. I'm a mother, grandmother, single parent most of my life. I live the life that many in this district do. And I continue to empower the people, reach out to them. Once you get me into office, that gives me more voice to help them have more voice at City Hall. Thank you.
I am probably the only fiscal conservative running. The first thing that I plan on doing when hopefully now it is. This Tom. Okay. So what I plan on doing is the first thing I want to do is set up and repeal half the ordinances that the city council is going through right now. Our current city council, which is the lame duck, is passing all their pet projects. All they're going to do is just cost us money. You know, from January 1st, you're not going to be able to talk on your cell phone. We got the bag ban. We got a lot of stuff that the city council is just pushing through right now. And all that's going to do is cost us money. When we are looking at, well, I got off track. But the things that I'm planning on doing is, like as I said, I plan on putting my office in District 4, and it's going to be a permanent office, not one of these things I will have a weekend here, a weekend there. I want people to come talk to me, tell me what their problems are. The other thing that I promised right off the bat, once you elect me on January, when I go to be sworn in on January 6th, they take the election and vote for, are we all, basically, what happens on January 6th after you're sworn in? All the new 10 candidates are going to have to go up and see if they got a long-term or a short-term deal. I will volunteer to take a 2-year term, because if you don't like me and if I'm not doing the job, vote me out. I don't have an ego that says, I have to be this. I'm doing this because I am tired of the way the city's being run, and we need to put it back on a more business relationship. one of my jobs that I work for the state, I'm a water/environmental engineer. I'm the one who helps approve your wastewater treatment plant. So when you flush, you can think of me because I am the person who permits those things. I'm the person who approves those things. I'm too much, right? But you are remembering me, right? I don't charge too much, the city does.
It's hard to follow that. Okay, so this 10-1 is basically a new future for Austin. I am fortunate enough and happy to be here talking to you guys right now because I'm living the American dream. And I was fortunate enough to be adopted by two great parents who were the first in their families to go to college. They were migrant workers. They worked in the Rio Grande Valley and they went up north and picked vegetables in Michigan. So by learning their values and their morals, pushed me to do better than what they did. They sacrificed so much for me to be here right now. And I'm here telling you that this is an important time for all of us. I worked at the state capitol on the Senate side and the House side for 6 years. I was a policy director. I wore many hats. I was involved in many, many negotiations and passing of legislation for the state of Texas. I learned a lot. My bosses influenced me in many ways of how much to care for your community, so I got involved. I was the past executive director for the Hispanic Physicians Association, where I implemented different healthcare initiatives. Free eye exams, free dental care, free health fairs, free physicals, and partnering up with AISD and providing for athletics. The last year and a half, we received a grant and we pushed for educating people in District 4 and households in District 1, educating them on healthcare. So I was in over hundreds of households for 2 years and promoting healthcare. And if they couldn't get healthcare, we figured out they could get Medicaid and non-Medicaid and get MAP under Central Health. So I've already spoken to people. I already know what the needs are here. And we need to make sure that we elect the right person. We need to make sure that because we don't need somebody who's moved in here 2 years ago, is 20s, running for office, not knowing the city. We need to make sure we elect the right person and make sure that this person really knows Austin. Thank you.
Candidates, thank you very much. Can we get a round of applause for them? Great job. Great job. Thank you very much. And I want to thank you all for being here today. Just a couple of closing items that we want to remind everybody. Early voting starts October 20th. If you haven't registered to vote, the last day to register is October 6th, where you can go ahead and register. When you go vote, which, like as we mentioned before, October 20th is early voting, and the actual voting day is November 4th. Please make sure that you have a valid photo ID so that you can participate in this momentous event for the city of Austin. We also want to thank the candidates again for being here with us. We understand we had some technical difficulties, but try to make it as best as possible for everybody. This will be uploaded onto YouTube, so you guys can watch the video at any time at your leisure. Each question will be separated so you can watch the candidates discuss the items of importance. If there was a question that was not asked that you feel that is also of need, you can also go to austindistrict4.org, go to their website and take a look at some of the responses that they have done. Some of them have been gracious enough to translate the answers in Spanish. So if you have someone that is bilingual, by all means, please show them where they can go so that they can see the responses. We also want to thank everybody that has participated with this event. We want to thank Lanier High School again, AISD. We also want to thank the members who supported the candidate forum, or the community members, and also the individual or the groups that had supported this event financially, which include Heritage Hills, Woodridge, Highland, North Austin Civic Association, Northfield, and Windsor Hills. Thank you again for being here with us today, and we look forward to seeing you guys on Election Day.